Everybody ready, or need a coffee break or something?
I think it kind of continues the theme from what we're saying on Sunday or previous year, and we just went by the time his opinions in life and then our and everything which we discussed.
Oh yeah, a lot we discussed.
The connection.
Are you ready, Doug?
I am ready.
Okay, we are learning Shar Aleph Parak Chaf Beis, last parak of Nefesh Hachaim Shar Aleph, and he says, after reading it numerous times, he says, Yesoid Nifla, which I'm actually very excited about. I'm going to repeat it again. That we all know that Torah Lo Beshamaim He. Yadua, Torah Lo Beshamaim He. And Nefesh Hachaim understands it, and once you look at the sources, it's indisputable. The way this is to be understood is that may, as he says his lashon, Mishaba Moshe v'harida la'aretz Lo Beshamaim He. From the time that Moshe Rabbeinu came, and there was a mountain Torah, and he brought the Torah to the Aretz, Lo Beshamaim He. The Mashmois is clear that until that point, it was Beshamaim. So when we say Torah Lo Beshamaim He, it means Torah as we know it, Lo Beshamaim He. When it says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu looked in the Torah, Yistakel Baraisa Bara Alma, that was in Shemayim. The Torah was Beshamaim. But Odyoter, when Yaakov Avinu married two sisters, how was he allowed to marry two sisters? It says in the Torah, it says he kept the Torah. But that time the Torah was different. The Torah was Beshamaim He. When the Torah is Beshamaim, you can make cheshbonos if you have a musag in Shemayim. If you're Yaakov Avinu, you can have a musag. You can dray a little bit. If Amram realized that by marrying his aunt, which was Asur, he's going to have a Moshe Rabbeinu, so you can do that. Because why? Because Torah Beshamaim He. The Torah is Beshamaim He. But from the moment Mishaba Moshe v'harida la'aretz, a quantum leap took place where Moshe Rabbeinu brought the Torah into the world. What does it mean he brought the Torah into the world? That there are four worlds. There's the world of Atzilus and Bria and Yetzira and Asiya. The Torah was on the top of the world of Bria. This says before in the Zohar. The Torah was on the top of Istakel Baraisa Ubara Alma. The Bria came from the world of Bria, obviously. So it was Lamalo Amina Neshamis, and then it descended to the Kisei HaKavod, the Torah. I have no idea what I'm talking about now. I'm just quoting to you a Zohar. It descended from the Kisei HaKavod to the Kisei HaKavod to the Olam HaNeshamis. What does it mean? It means for us that if there is such a thing as a Sharish HaNeshama, there's such a thing. Everybody has a different Sharish HaNeshama. Now, if you know your Sharish HaNeshama, I don't know my Sharish HaNeshama, and you don't know your Sharish HaNeshama, but if we would know our Sharish HaNeshama, so then we would understand that this Sharish HaNeshama has to go with that Sharish HaNeshama, and if we're dealing in the Shemayim with Sharish HaNeshamas, then there's a lot of leeway. If you're such a tzaddik like Yaakov Avinu or Amram, or many of the times, Torah Beshamaim He. Moshe Rabbeinu came and he brought it to the Olam of Asiya. It's a different Torah now. It's the same Torah, it's based on the same Torah, but it's a different Torah. I don't know, we have no musig of what the Torah was before. I saw in Reb Tzadok, he says, just Agav, he says that, it says, the Gemara says that this, in the Sefer Torah of Rameir, Hasav Kosnos, or Im Aleph, whatever it means, he had a different Sefer Torah. But in other words, he had access to the Torah B'Shamayim. The Torah B'Shamayim had differences. Ksiv and Kri is different. Torah B'Shamayim, Lo B'Shamayim. But we have Torah. Torah is in the Olam of Asiya, so it's not just we don't know. It's a different paradigm. It's a different place. The Torah is in a different place now. And this Yesod, by the way, you could take whole svarim off the shelf. And that is because there's all kinds of svarim that discuss, how did the Avos do this Haber, how did they do that Haber, to a certain extent, I'm not being mevatel anybody, but at least if this Yesod, those questions are not they're not important questions. It's pilpula ba'alma, because it was koydem matan Torah. What does it mean that it was koydem matan Torah? They weren't Jewish in the sense that we're Jewish. They weren't bound by the Torah of the Olam of Asiya. They were working strictly with the Olam of Bria, and therefore there was a lot of license. So this is why I read just to sum up everything that we've learned, a number of things that we've learned. The guy in the Keser Rosh, the Rabbi Chaim Volozhin quotes the Vilna Gaon. He talks about Avera Lishma. That's the heading of the paragraph. Avera Lishma. Avera Lishma. We think about Avera Lishma. We think that I'm going to do a certain Avera because at the long run it's good. Somehow the end justifies the means, which is not true. The end never justifies the means, unless the Torah tells you it does. For instance, you're allowed to be Mechal Shabbos for Kuach Nefesh. There's a case where the Torah tells you that the end justifies the means. Better to be Mechal Shabbos Achas than to be Mechal Shabbos, to be Mekayim Bani Shabbos. It's beside it. But you can't make it up. You can't make it up. Why? Because the Torah is in the world of Asiya. It's not just like let me just say it again in different words. Like we say that, look, you can't go against the Torah because it sounds like a frubazach. Like who do you think you are going against the Torah? You're smarter than the Torah. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about being frum. We're talking about that you can't go against the Torah because now we're bound by the rules of the Torah. Before they were not bound by the rules of the Torah. Why? Because the Torah was not Harida law. So let me just explain one thing, a new thing, according to this. That, for instance, and I said this in the Mefarshim, maybe the Kli Yakar, Korach comes. When was Korach? Which year of the Midbar? Not all at once.
My book is
No.
the 20th year or no?
The last year.
The last year. Mefarshim. Don't think there's any machlokes. It was the last year, meaning 39 years after Matan Torah. And Korach gets up. He sees Moshe Rabbeinu is at the end. He knows Moshe Rabbeinu is after the Meraglim. Moshe is not going to go into Eretz Yisrael. There's an opportunity here for leadership, for takeover, corporate takeover, hostile takeover. Korach comes and he challenges Moshe Rabbeinu. Listen to the Dafka quotes a little bit here, but then it's on the Kli Yakar. Korach hayachacham gadol pikeach. Rashi says Korach shepikeach. Pikeach bal ruach hakodesh. Bal ruach hakodesh. V'ra behisig b'dvarim gevayim v'rabim ve'ein lanu musag kol shehu b'hasaga shalai. We have no musag how big of a gadol Korach was. Reinu v'rabbeinu. However, what was his problem? His problem was im kol asagas ruach hakodesh shel Korach arehu loy ra yafa. The lashon of the Chazal is Korach loy ra yafa. What is it? The issue is that loy ra yafa. He didn't get it. He didn't see well. And Moshe Rabbeinu ra yafa. Why is that the issue? The issue is he's arguing with Moshe Rabbeinu. Why is the issue loy ra yafa? The problem with Korach was, this is the problem with so many people, that they don't understand, like he's old-fashioned. He didn't understand that the Torah was given now. So Korach saw Baruch HaKodesh, and with his pichus, and with his understanding of the Sharish Shabbos, that why are you taking all the leadership for yourself? The Leira Yafa is the pshat that he doesn't understand that this is not about politics, or it's not about leadership. It's about the Torah was given, and the Torah was given to Moshe Rabbeinu. So since the Torah was given to Moshe Rabbeinu, the Moshe Rabbeinu in his Haniva says to Korach, he says that everything that I'm saying, I heard in Har Sinai, what's the lashon of the Torah? Ki loy mi libi. You're telling me what your lave says, so now maybe I can tell you what my lave says. And we can have an argument about Kabbalah as to who should be, how the world works, and who should be the heads of the Klal Yisrael. Libi, I'm not telling you now what Kabbalistic spars. I'm telling you that there was a Matan Torah, and once there's a Matan Torah, Korach you're out. Like you could have all the grace of cheshbonos in the world, but it no longer applies once there's a Torah. Isn't it a fantastic? You said no longer applies. Like it reminds me. Excuse me for such a mundane example, but it reminds me of somebody said to me once, like doesn't understand. Like he was an older person. When he was a kid, so Young Israel is an Orthodox organization. Young Israel, National Council of Young Israel of America. So they used to organize like every Saturday night mixed dancing, and that was a big zach because that's why Jews marry Jews. So like, why don't we have mixed dancing? Like, is it a good kasha? It's a stupid kasha. It's because we're not holding there anymore. Things have changed. Like that's what they needed to do. That's what they needed to do. So I'm not saying that was permissible. As nobody asked me. But I guess Gedolim decided at that time not to be mocha. But that doesn't mean that today, where we're holding in a different place, that Korach was like still holding before Matan Torah. He was a Kodah Matan Torah Yid. Korach was around for a long time, and he was used to paskening with his Ruach HaKodesh, and people came to him, and he was a big mekubal and a big guru and a big and people came to him, and as he says, Ein lanu hasagos b'masha hisig Korach. He had tremendous hasagos, but the point is that the whole thing doesn't make any difference, because Moshe Rabbeinu is saying this is not a competition of delay. Lo milibi. It's not something that's coming from my life, so it makes no difference what you are. Therefore, you can't. It's such an essential issue, this Korach, not just saying of art, because Korach was the first one that we know of to challenge the paradigm shift of Matan Torah. That's what Korach was. That the importance of Korach in history is that he challenged this exact yesod of Lo Beshamaim He, and he wanted to take it back to Shamayim. Nice.
What do you mean you want to take it back to Shema?
It doesn't make a difference what it says in the Chumash that Daber al Moshe vel Aaron Daber al Bnei Aaron v'Amartel. It doesn't make any difference because I have a different hasaga. But your hasag, all those hasagas are meaningless once you come. I wanna, yeah.
The question is the obvious thing is, and why is this happening 39 years post Matan Torah? This should be happening almost immediately, or at least within the first year after.
Because Moshe Rabbeinu was going to die, and Moshe Rabbeinu unto himself was beloved. And there was no way to challenge him. The question is, how do you go further?
Surely the understanding of there's been a Matan Torah for Korach is established.
I'm saying he waited till the last year to make a coup, because now is the time to challenge the leadership, opportunity to challenge the leadership of Moshe Rabbeinu.
Sounds like a Zaki Mamre type of outlook.
It's a very interesting kind of Zaken Mamre.
Well, he was an Amor. He was like the Zaken. He was
right,
like
but
a
he says a
Zaken
Zaken Mamre is up to no good. Here we're talking about something much more complex in the sense that he has an MS Kabbalistically. He has an MS. It might be MS. Like there's no. I hope I'm allowed to say this. No difference between Korach and Yashka. Like wake up, there was a Torah here. Once there's a Torah, you can't play games any longer. So like somebody has a hasaga, even a Navi would have a hasaga and say, no, it should be different now, or this mitzvah is no longer applicable, lafi hashirish, or all that doesn't apply after Matan Torah. The lashon of the Gemara is Ein Navi Rashoy L'Chadish Davar Me'ata. From now, from this moment. And by the way, it doesn't necessarily mean that Moshe Rabbeinu was greater than, like Kam Navi B'Yisrael Oid. The pshat is not necessarily that he was greater than Moshe, than Avram Avinu. I don't know. The Gemara says, the Gemara's mashma, and the Arizal says mefurish, that Moshe Rabbeinu was masig ad shar hamemtes of shari bina. There's 50 altogether. He was not masig shar hamemtes, and Rabbi Akiva was masig shar hanun. Hello, and that's before the Gemara Menachos. The Gemara says before that Moshe Rabbeinu was listening in on the shir of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was listening on the shir of Rabbi Akiva, and lo hivit. I don't know what he's talking about. So Kadosh Baruch Hu calmed him down. It's okay, but how did he know? How did he know to say something that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't understand? And then the Gemara makes it worse by saying that since he heard Rabbi Akiva say, "Halach lo Moshe b'Sinai hu nisyas v'daita," what's the nisyas v'daita? He was Kiviyachol, the agitation of Moshe Rabbeinu is like, what is he talking about? He's talking in Yadim of Kabbalah. This is not part of what I was Mechadish. That was what the Chalisha Sadas was. This was like a new religion. You get it? There's a whole different thing. It wasn't that Moshe Rabbeinu, Chalisha Sadas, or Rabbi Kiva was smarter than him. It was what are you saying? You're going back to like it felt like a Kairach situation, Mahavdil. So, but then he heard that Rabbi Kiva said, everything that I'm saying comes from Moshe Rabbeinu at Sinai. Okay, it starts here and it goes down. But Be'emes, the Arizal says in the Shari, the Rechai Vital Shara Gilgulim, Parak Beis, Bursh, that we see from here, from this Gemara, that Rabbi Kiva had stronger hasagas than Moshe Rabbeinu. It's not against everything we learned at school. But because it has nothing to do with the greatness and the genius of Moshe Rabbeinu. I'm sure he was, or the greatness. It has to do with a paradigm shift that happened in history. That Torah now came to the world of Asiyah. So as long as Moshe Rabbeinu saw that Rabbi Kiva was working in the world of Asiyah, he was okay with that. He was okay with that, and he's okay with us being Mechadish things also, as long as you're under the umbrella of the world of Asiyah. Once somebody is climbing higher, then Lo Beseder, it's already not Judaism. Mm-hmm. It's not Judaism.
He was taking them sort of he got. He was using his own chachma and figuring out things.
Exactly, Rabbi Kiva.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly, but Moshe Rabbeinu was worried about it. That's what the Gemara says. Moshe Rabbeinu was worried about it. It was like, what's going on here? It's so easy. Look how many times in history, even the time of Rabbi Kiva, it developed into something else. So it becomes the closest religion to Judaism, but it's not Judaism. So the Judaism is for the world of Asiyah. Shabsai Tzvi, this whole mahalach of Shabsai Tzvi, if you know the history, was to say this halacha no longer applies, this halacha no longer applies.
Sure.
Yeah, it went to the Sherish. So going to the Sherish. Now, did he know, did he not know? Reb Tzadok says he did know. Tzadok says he was that level of Mekubal, and he was able to do that. That's what he says. He says, the Tzadok, the Gavaldik, Reb Tzadok says, when you're such a gadol, like you can say things that but he says that to him, the first page of Rasisei Lai, to him he says, well, tremendous Yisoid, he says that everybody always comes to their highest madrega that they can reach. I mean, I'm assuming you're an Oived Hashem. Come to the highest madrega you can reach, and then you have a Nisayan at that madrega. And the Nisayan for a Gadol Hadar, what was the Nisayan for Steinman, right? What was his Nisayan? The man didn't sit in a regular chair for 60 years. What was his Nisayan? He made some kind of a leather not to sit in a chair. So he sat on his bed.
It was a neder?
I think so, yeah. So what was the Nisayan? I mean, he wasn't thinking, should I eat in Pizza Hut today? I mean, what was his Nisayan? Or, should I talk Lashon Hara? He didn't have such a Nisayan. I didn't know him well. I'm just saying, like, he said for 60 years, he didn't make a mezainis except for on Daisa. Also, took upon himself. What? No sufganiyah, no ragala, nothing. It's just like, you don't need it. Daisa. I remember when he said that, somebody offered him ragala. He says for 60 years he only made a mezainis on Daisa. So the whole yeshivish world typically started to be mufalpel. Oh, you make a mezainis on Daisa? We gave like the whole pilpul, like missing the entire story. No, so what was in the site? So the Reb Tzadok says that a person can become a Gadol Hadar and reach the highest level of understanding and the highest level of closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And your Nisayan at that point is, am I going to take it for myself or am I going to give it to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Interesting. Am I going to say, look what I've achieved? Or am I going to completely humble myself like Moshe Rabbeinu did, Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu? It's nothing. It's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm nothing but a keli. Or are you? Look what I've achieved. So he says that's in the sign of a gadol adar. He says Ritzadik Kigoin. He says, and two examples of people that failed this Nisayon, he says, was Yeshu HaNoitzri and Shabsaitzri. So, okay, we can add to the, because Korach, yeah.
Rabbi, this idea of the Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu bringing the Torah down from the Beshamaim, how does it connect with the idea of Shnei Aleph and Tohu, which ended with Avram Avinu, and Avram Avinu starting Shnei Aleph and Torah? So there's three different stages, or?
So the Torah began its descent in the year 2000 when Avram Avinu was 52 years old. And it completed its descent 2,000 years later with Rabbi Yehuda Nasi redacting the Mishnah. But from the time of Matan Torah, which was like a hump in the 33, 38, was something. So in the year of 2440. In the year of Matan Torah, so from that moment on, in the course of history, you can no longer, the Torah just reached Aretz. There's no more reaching Beshamaim. Agav. So far, everything I've said was Agav. So I got to get to the main thing here, but which I will. But Agav, I just want to bring to your attention a machlekes achronim. Whether when we say that a Navi can't be Machadish as something, or Ruach HaKodesh can't be Machadish something, or a Baskol can't be Machadish, because all that was before Matan Torah, now we have Matan Torah. So the Or Sameach in Hilchos Bias Mikdash, Kotshim. So the Or Sameach talks about that it was only by the Nevi'im that they were Machadish, the union of Pruei Rosh, that if the Kohen is not wearing a mitznefes, he's not allowed to do the avodah. And the Gemara seems to say that he's Chai Misa B'dei Shamayim. So how could he be Chai Misa B'dei Shamayim? Don't worry about the details, because I just want to bring these. How he says Chai Misa B'dei Shamayim? The Torah doesn't say this here. So how can he say the Nevi'im said it? So he said that from here you see that a Navi can be Machadesh. He can be Machadesh anu Misa B'dei Shamayim, even though he can't be Machadesh Halacha Misa B'dei Adam. So says the Or Sameach.
So what does that mean? You give Machadesh the ownership, not the Yisur? What's the difference?
Well, it means two things. No, in other words, like what you can't change is you can't tell the Sanhedrin to kill somebody. But if they knew, if the Nevi'im or the Chachamim knew that in Shamayim this is not working, they can say, not be Mi'achadish is the wrong word, they can say, look, that person is Chai B'dei Shamayim, he's being Chai Misa. So the Or Sameach says that you see that even though Ein Navi Rashay L'Chadish Davar Me'ata from the time of Torah, that's only in Halacha. But in terms of like knowing what's going on in the Shamayim, they can. This is the Or Sameach.
So following what the Rabbi was saying on Sunday, the Rosh Hashanah, what's to say that isn't like somebody can't be one of the learning percent. In Shamayim, there needs to be now everybody learning. That's what has to happen.
Right, because that changes actually what we're doing then.
Right. So what's
but that's changing halacha l'maisa. So Nevi'im said a lot of things. We bang with our rabbis on Hoshana Rabbah. That's minhag Nevi'im. That we walk around in circles with our lulav and Simchas Torah. It's all minhagei Nevi'im. How are they allowed to be machadish these things? And it's all pi Kabbalah. You walk around 7 times because of 7 spheroids. It's all the Nevi'im knew these things too, right? So it was all pi Kabbalah. So we do many things that seem to be chidushim of the Nevi'im. So I could add on to the Or Sameach. Okay, Chadash and Misa B'dei Shamayim is already a tough one, but there's many things that we do that are divrei Nevi'im. The Gemara says. B'dikas hasak in the Gemara in Chulin, B'dikas hasak in minat Torah and minayin. How do you know that the shaykhid has to check hasak? And Shnamar ushchatetem bozeh, because Yeshua pulled out the knife and he says, "This is the way hasakin should look." Who's Yeshua? With all due respect, to tell us a halacha. So he told us a lot of halachas. So Or Sameach says, you see that Nevi'im are allowed to tell you halachas. Why not? even though they can't change from the Torah, they can't like sigru mimenu. They can tell you an oifen, he says. Like they can tell you, the Marzchias also says this. They can tell you how to do shchita. The Torah says you have to do shchita. They're telling you a prat in Hilchos Shchita. In the Avi Ezri, that's Rav Shach, Olav Shalom, on the same Rambam, in the Or Sameach, says Chas v'Shalom loymar. That's what he tells us. Rav Shach. You can start seeing how the worldviews of great people are formed. Chas v'Shalom loymar came. There is no such thing. If the Nevi'im said something, they said this is how you have to shech the sakin, or this is what the kohen has to wear in his head. It's because they had a Kabbalah like that from Moshe Rabbeinu. He says Chas v'Shalom. He says, and he writes. I can't remember exactly the lashon. He says, I have no idea what would bring the Or Sameach to say such a silly thing. It's lashon of Rav Shach. You have to know Rav Shach. He says it has to be a Messiah, and if it's not a Messiah going back to Sinai, now I'll say anything. Now I'll say anything. So what?
Mars that bring Pesukim from Navi to teach you halacha.
To Megala.
Huh?
Megala. It's a gilui. It's a gilui of what always was. Even if they had a nevuah to say, look, even if they say, I know ben nevuah that this is what Moshe Rabbeinu heard on Har Sinai. Say there like that. Even that, then they're like Rabbi Akiva. No difference between them and Rabbi Akiva. But to be machadish something, there's no chidushim at all. At Rav Shach L'Shitasa, he says that what does it mean? If somebody he didn't even like the idea of going to Mekubalim and finding out what the Sherish HaNeshama is, and is this the right shidduch for me? Like finished, nigmar. We're in the world of Asiya. So that's an extreme, I would say, in this day and age, an extreme carry. But where he's coming from is the danger. I mean, everyone knows his politics, but the extreme danger he felt in accessing anything higher than the Torah, anything that's not in the Torah. Like Kilu, there's like a separate track that this Makubal is getting, or this Rabbi is getting, or this person is getting, or this Navi is getting. It doesn't make any difference. So it's a fascinating thing. So now let's get back to that's the Yesod. The biggest raya the Nefesh Hachaim brings. Harei Chizkiyahu Hamelech Shira Beruach HaKodesh. Let me quote to you the Gemara. The Gemara says in Brachos, Yud Amud Aleph. The Gemara says that Yeshaya, let me just tell you the Gemara, Yeshayahu and Chizkiyahu lived at the same time. Chizkiyahu was the Melech, Yeshayahu was the Navi. And they found themselves in the same place. And the question was, what is the correct protocol? Should a Navi go to visit the Melech, or should a Melech go to visit the Navi? Yeah. What's the right way to go? Melech go to the Navi go to the Melech. Asa HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nes. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did a Nes, and Chizkiyahu became sick. Okay, now there's a new Machriya that the Navi, like everybody else who's a Jew, has to go be Mevakar Choyle. So the Hashgacha Pratis, that Chizkiyahu became sick, and now Yeshayahu, Hashem Paskin, that Yeshayahu has to go to Chizkiyahu. You see, you got to ask the question, why didn't Hashem do the Nes that Yeshayahu should get sick?
He was Machriya.
So there it says he was Machriya. He was Machriya, the halacha. So from here you see a halacha. From here you see a halacha, not just the Metzias, not just the Hechatimsa. You see a halacha that the Navi goes to the Melech. That's what you see. He goes to be Mevakar Choylehim, the Gemara says, and he says to Chizkiyahu, you're going to be Mevakar Choyle somebody, you're supposed to make him feel better, so try to make him feel a little bit better. A little nichum, a little chizuk, So he says to him, Meis val tichya, lashon of the pasuk, Meis, you will die, val tichya. And the Gemara spells out for us, Meis b'olam hazal, tichya lo'olam haba. You should drop dead and go to hell. Thank you for visiting. I'm glad Hashem did this miracle to give me all this kavod. What's the Peladik thing? Meis val tichya. So Chizkiyahu looks at him, Lamali kulahai. Like, what's the occasion? So Yeshayahu told him, Mishum d'lo yasakta b'pirya v'rivya. I believe I'm quoting the Gemara exactly. You're not, Yechizkiyahu was a single. He didn't get married at that point. So he was a single. You were not Oisik and Peravu, Meisvel Tichya. So Yechizkiyahu takes a deep breath of relief. And he says, that's a different story. That's what your problem is. That I have a teretz for. The teretz is because Bishum Dechazisi Beruach HaKodesh. You talk about Chizkiyahu Hanavi. Roy Liyos Mashiach, the Gemara says. Roy Liyos Mashiach. Isi Beruach HaKodesh, that if I get married and I have children, I'm going to have a child that's going to end up being called Menashe, who's going to kill Talmidei Chachamim, and he's going to kill Tzadikim. You know, there was says in Yeshayahu, Mipeh el Peh. He's killed Yerushalayim, Mipeh el Peh. The one Peh was the Talmidei Chacham he killed. He's going to kill you, Yeshayahu. He's going to kill you. That's my Nevuah. That's my Ruach HaKodesh. I'm going to have a child. Dieli Banin Marin. I'm going to have children that are terrible. Meaning, in the Malchus Yisrael, there were so many malachim, and if you look through a Sefer Malachim, each parak starts with another melech kimat, and one says Sha'asa Toiv Beinei Hashem, Masha Lo Yasa Toiv, and all kinds of things. You want me to start a trend of evil Jewish kings? So that's why I didn't get married. Yeshayahu listens to the Cheshbon, and he says, V'lachein, I say, Meisvel Tichya. And that's exactly my point, says Yeshayahu. We're not talking about kinderlach here. We're talking about a very sophisticated discussion. That's kufa why I'm saying that Meis Oilam Hazeh Vel Tichya Oilam Haba Lashon of Yeshayahu Bahadi Kavshid Lashon Chazal and Yeshayahu Bahani Kavshid Rachmana Lamalacha Bahadi Kavshid Rachmana Lamalacha, translated usually as, why are you taking the Torah into your own hands? The Torah says you should be Oisik and Peravu. The Torah says you should get married. That's what the Torah says. What are you saying differently? What are you arguing with the Torah? So the Pashat Pshat in the Gemara is just the Pashat Pshat. You learn Daf Yomi in the Gemara, Brachas Daf Yud. So you learn that the Pshat is, you can't argue with the Torah. Don't be smarter than the Torah. Don't be an Iber Chacham. The Torah, you don't go with the reasons, which is the Emes Pshat. That is the Pshat. But let's just understand it more deeply. What was Yeshayahu? What was Chizkiyahu holding? What was Yeshayahu holding? Good? Gewaldig? First of all, what does it mean? Just give me a translation here. Bahadi Kavshi Dirachmana Lamalacha. Bahati,
Yes.
Kafshi, don't know.
Conquered and killed.
Ezu Gibra Koivesh is Yisrael. So Bahati Kafshi Dirachmana.
Holding back.
Why are you being Koivesh the Torah? Why are you taking the Torah into your own hands? Lamalacha. Why are you Hadi Kafshi Dirachmana? Everybody agrees with that? That's the type.
Kavshi stopping something proceeding. Your Koivesh doesn't proceed.
And also the Rahmana used it as opposed to the Raisa.
Suppressing the Rahman.
So let me tell you a Gewaldige word from Rashi. The Kavshi Rahmana Starim Lashon Kavush. A pickle. Also Kavush. And the Kavshi Rahmana, you take something and you do Hatmana on it. That's called Kavisha. I presume it's related to the word koivish. Koivish is Yitzray.
It stops the biological process.
Stop the biological process. Very good. Well
Also,
said like a scientist. What are you doing, Eddie? Why you, honey? So Rashi says that it means, why are you getting involved with that you find Kivsha de Isa? He brings a couple of examples, Rashi. He's bothered by this. That it refers to the underlying secrets, the things that nobody knows. So Bahadi Kavshi, with those secrets, Lamalacha, the secrets of the Torah are not for you. That's what Rashi says. It's a Gavalda Gavar. He means to say that Yeshayahu was saying to Chizkiyahu, I know that you see what's going on in Shemayim, and I know you understand your Shorish HaNeshama, and you even see, and he correctly saw that he's going to have children that are marred. He was right, Basar. He did have a Menashe, he did have a Chorban. But we don't operate that way because the Torah is not Loi Beshamaim He. What he's saying, what are you getting involved in? So here's a new term. You could write a sefer called the Kafshid Rachmana. The Kafshid Rachmana means the secrets of the Torah. What are you getting involved in the secrets of the Torah? What are you getting involved in things that are not something which are graspable to us? Hadikavshid Rachmana. Lama lacha. And by the way, Chizkiyahu, of course, the Gemara ends was Makabel, the Musar, and Teichacha of Yeshayahu. And he said to him, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll marry your daughter. And maybe bein schlusa didi, l'schlusa dida, Kadosh Baruch will have Rachmanas between my schlusim and your schlusim, Melech Yisrael, Navi Yisrael. And here a shidduch happened on the bed. And
Also a wrong deal, huh? Also a wrong deal.
What do you mean?
If you see the future, he's hearing it from someone who also sees the future. The Navi also sees the future, but the Navi is saying, even though I also see the future, Kadosh Baruch Hu told me everyone has to do it here. So now you want to make a chiddush between my daughter and your son, right? Why do you think it's going to be different to what you see?
Zero.
Sometimes you can overturn a gzeira. But what's true whatsoever is that he did not believe for a second that the gzeira is gone. This is a gzeira. This for Chizkiyahu to get married at this moment was Mesiras Nefesh, because he knew that it was going to be bad. He just hoped, and it was bad. Yeshayahu was killed by his grandson. In other words, that's what happened. They had Menashe, but Menashe killed Yeshayahu, the Zayda. It was murder. He killed. In other words, Yeshayahu's daughter gave birth to Menashe. Menashe turned around and killed Yeshayahu. Harag is Yerushalayim Peh El Peh. So like this was Mesiras Nefesh on both of their parts. Mesiras Nefesh for what? Mesiras Nefesh for the emes of the Torah. We're living in the world of Asiyah. Don't climb above.
So he started.
But not that it's not emes. In other words, like Yeshayahu never said that what Chizkiyahu is seeing is not emes. Apparently, his nevuah might have been bigger than Yeshayahu. We don't know. Maybe Yeshayahu said the same thing. I don't know. But the difference between Ruach HaKodesh and nevuah, I believe, is that nevuah has to be given to you. You can't just let me try to have a nevuah now. Ruach HaKodesh you can try to access. So my understanding of the difference, so Ruach HaKodesh in a certain way is like more handy than nevuah. Nevuah is Hashem gave me a nevuah. Many neviim had one nevuah in their whole life. Avadia had one nevuah in his whole life. But Yeshayahu was a bit the neviim gedolim. They had a few nevuahs. But Ruach HaKodesh, Chizkiyahu had Ruach HaKodesh. You need Ruach HaKodesh to be able to lead a people, because Ruach HaKodesh means that he was able to meditate and come into an emes of the Hecher Velden. He was able to see something even higher. So he saw something higher, and Yeshayahu told him to ignore it. He did ignore it, and Mesiras Nefesh, they made a shidduch. Mesiras Nefesh, knowing this would come out bad. Will anybody here make that shidduch? This is going to be bad.
Just to relate to something.
We're worried about that. Like 4 generations, the great grandmother was overweight. like that's what we're worried about. I mean, what are we like? This you're talking about? Gewalt. Like so the Yisoid Hadavers. Let's learn inside, and then we'll. Chizkiyahu Melech Shira Baruch HaKodesh. He saw Baruch HaKodesh. It was legitimate Baruch HaKodesh that he's going to have children. And therefore he did not marry a woman. Says Nefesh Hachaim, here's an endorsement. His kavanah was completely l'shem shamayim. So he was no different in that sense than Yaakov Avinu or than Amram. Yaakov Avinu said the right thing to do, B'tikun HaNeshamas, is to marry 2 sisters. The right thing for me to do is to marry my aunt Yocheved, Al Moshe Rabbeinu. So Chizkiyahu and Korach We're simply following that line of thinking, which I would imagine anybody who could would. If you know it, you would. That's what we go to Mekubalim for. Im kol zeh, but b'chol ba elav Yeshayahu b'devar Hashem yamar loy pasuk malachim ki meisato v'loy sichya loylam haba mishum d'loy asakta b'pir yavarivya v'loy hayaloi kol eitzem sid kaisav hanayraim. All of his wonderful righteousness did not help lahaviyah l'chaya olam haba. There's another point. Look at all the good that Chizkiyahu did for Klal Yisrael. No. Bishvil shesavar li pater mi mitzvah achas miteras Moshe. See, I just want to point out one last thing here. If a person decides to remain a single, a man decides to remain a single, in my limited knowledge, there is no such thing that person dies and doesn't go to Olam Haba. Okay, you're over on a mitzvah essay b'shev al tasa. I'm not saying it's okay, but like base al tichya, you tell me die. No, like what's you're going to lose it. You're going to die in this world. Kilo and kares, and you're never going to go to Olam Haba because b'shev al tasa you were mevatel a mitzvah essay. How going to be? So the teretz is chayra. The only teretz is that okay, this was not a case of being mevatel and mitzvah essay b'shev al taisa. This was a case of feeling that you're smarter than the Torah and you can go above it into a higher world and access that. That's where you lose your chelik in Olam Haba. You know what I'm saying? This is not really right. Meaning like
Kavanah to be mevatel.
The kavanah was the hashkafa was the issue. The hashkafa of feeling that you can climb above the Torah. That's what Yeshayahu told him. This is the same thing, exactly the same thing that Moshe Rabbeinu told to Korach. You want to go into that category of mace, Valtichia? Should we open up the earth for you? What he was saying was not the issue is not okay. Not Mekayim Mitzvah. The issue was your hashkafa is completely wrong. And if your hashkafa is completely wrong. And listen to this, if your hashkafa is completely wrong, you're not a ben Olam Haba. You don't have nothing to do in Olam Haba. What are you going to sit there with the Gedolim and have nothing to talk about? Your hashkafa is completely wrong, because this is the world of Asiya. The Arizal says, Nachmer, that mace, Valtichya, a mace is not in the world of Asiya. You're paskening like a mace. You're holding like a mace. A mace is already a different world. Like Hashras HaNefesh, you're in the world of Ruach, you're in the world of Neshama. Mace, Valtichya. For a reason.
Couldn't you say that not getting married wasn't the Aver Lishma?
It wasn't Aver Lishma, which he wasn't entitled to do. In other words, an Aver Lishma is only mutter, tachlis, is only mutter if you're saving the whole Klal Yisrael.
Saving generations of Talmidei Chacham?
No. Esther, Yael. 2 examples. And he can't make it up. So Ben Azai, Terosayum Nasai, he couldn't, first of all, he was only 30. It was not, but he married Rabbi Kiva's daughter. He married Rabbi Kiva's daughter. He just couldn't stay married. Couldn't stay married.
Well, that's what you're saying. The reason he was that he was trying to be Oiker, the status of the Torah.
Yeah. In other words, there's a difference between being mevatel. It's never good to be mevatel mitzvahs, as say b'shev al taser in any other way. But for that you don't lose your chelik in Olam Haba. It can't be. I could have given tzedakah. I didn't give tzedakah, so therefore I lost my chelik in Olam Haba. Can't be. I could have. It could be. We're all mevatel mitzvahs, as say b'shev al taser. Has anybody taken payah lately? It's like we're all about to go buy a field, take payah. My Rabbi bought a field to take payah. He bought a cow and he gave Mount Maskuna. He wanted to do every mitzvah, but beseder every mitzvah is possible to do. But all right, we're mevatel mitzvahs b'shev al tasid. For that you don't listen to Olam Haba. For the hashkafa to go above the Torah and to deny the fact that Moshe Harida Torah is to be kaifer in Torah's Moshe, and to be kaifer in Torah's Moshe is you lose your chelik in Olam Haba. So just to finish a paragraph over here, v'lo kol eitzam tzid kaisav hanayraim. Why? Bishul shesaver li pater mi mitzvah achas miteres Moshe. He thought he would be pater from the mitzvah. You see the deal? It's not that he didn't do the mitzvah. He says, I'm pater from the mitzvah. Li pater. Mimitzachas teres Moshe. Afshe kein Rabba hasagas ruach kadshay v'yivka minay bnin delay mali. So there's going to come a menashe for him. Gam shayu b'shei baltasa, and it was b'shei baltasa. Why? Ki tamei mitzvos ad tachlisam lo niskala adayim l'shum adu v'oilam. Because nobody knows. First, like we need to humble ourselves a little bit. You have one cheshbon. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has many cheshbonos. So why was there a menashe in the world? That was at the end of the day. Was Chizkiyahu right, or was Yeshayahu right? Even in history, we don't know. We don't know what the. We don't know what Hakadosh Baruch Hu's plan in terms of Klipon, in terms of Sitra Achra, and we don't know. So as much as you know a little bit. So a little bit of knowledge is very dangerous. Yeah. So like you can't a little bit, but so today here's the summation of the whole thing in a sentence. That the whole purpose of the Torah is to be misak in this world and the Olam Asal Yonim. Make the world a better place to live in. Make the Olam Asal Yonim better. Make a dir l'Hashem etachtonim. The only way to do it is by following the Torah. There is no other. But I'm making the world a better place. No, that's may us from the moment that Moshe Rabbeinu gave the Torah. There is no other way to do it. That's the way you do the Tikkun Olam. Just follow these directions. Don't come up with your own stuff because it won't work. Thank you very much.